Hey, what's up guys? It's Digital Dan. I'm coming live from Medellin, Colombia. Beautiful day out here. But today I want to talk about something very important, a very important topic, which is how to get out of the rat race. First, to understand how to get out the rat race, you have to understand what the rat race is. And my definition of the rat race is this: not doing what you want when you want. Okay? Being stuck in a particular job, business, does not matter. Just being stuck, that's being part of the rat race. For example, when I was working a 9 to 5 job, when my boss will call me on a Sunday night and I didn't want to work, and he'll tell me, Danny, I need you to come in for this shift. Someone just called out and I will have to go. That's being part of the rat race, right? Living somewhere that I did not want to live. I used to live in a small town in Arizona. I didn't want to live there. I couldn't leave because I was stuck in the rat race. And so there's a lot of things that could get you stuck in the rat race, but I'm gonna be teaching you guys how to get out of it, okay? But first we have to understand what are the key concepts that are keeping you in the rat race. Number one, I feel like this is gonna be probably one of the most important things, is the American culture is designed to keep you in the rat race. It's designed to not let you live a fulfilled life. For example, one thing, America is the culture is materialistic. And so I remember I was having a conversation with one of my friends. He worked at a corporate job and he was telling me that his boss was pushing him to get that new car. He was pushing him to get that new apartment. And you know what they say, when you get a lease, that's when you're on a leash, because now they have control over you, because now you have something that you have to pay every single month, and you can't afford to lose that job. You can't afford to leave. You can't afford, because you have to pay your, now I got $1,000 car payment that I got to pay. Oh, now I got a $2,000 apartment that I got to pay. So that you're already like, you're 3K in on top of your other expenses. So since your expenses are so high and your job is barely enough to fulfill that, you're basically stuck. You can't leave. If you leave your job, what's going to happen? Basically what's going to happen is that you're going to be getting all your shit repoed and life ain't going to be good, right? So this is one thing that I always tell people is like, if you want to live the digital nomad lifestyle, one thing that you're going to have to be disciplined in is not going out and buying all these expensive things. Trust me, I've been the same way. I've had a brick and mortar business that's been fairly successful, and I was looking at the newest car models and I was like, finally I could get the car that I really wanted. But I decided, I was like, okay, do I want this car more or do I want the lifestyle more? Like just being able to live wherever I want, being able to do whatever I want. Now I decided that the lifestyle was more important to me personally. For you, if you want to live with the car, if you're more comfortable having a nice car, then go ahead and go get it. But just understand that as soon as you sign that lease, you're gonna be on a leash, because now they're gonna have full control over you. Now let's talk about how to get out of the rat race. So let me talk about it in how I was able to get out of it, because everyone's situation is different, but maybe you can listen to my story and be like, oh, okay, how was Danny able to get out the rat race? So number one, first thing is you got to have money coming in, right? I remember back when, I talked to some of my friends, and they'll even message me and they'll tell me like, hey, Danny, I want to be living like you. And I'll tell them, I'm like, okay, well, where do you work at? Oh, I don't have a job. I stay with my parents. I was like, well, bro, it's going to be very hard for you to live this lifestyle if you don't have a job. So money first has to come in. The first thing that I did, like I remember when I first moved to California, I didn't have a business. I didn't have a successful business yet. I didn't have a job. I went on Craigslist and I started looking for getting money in, and I stumbled upon this job, which was a moving company. So I got this moving company and I just went in. It was probably the worst job that I ever worked in my life, and I worked a lot of jobs. Long hours, little pay, labor intensive, one of the worst jobs I ever paid. And then they would short me on my pay stubs every 2 weeks. So it was a very bad job, right? But I stuck to it, and then I was like, all right, I can't stay here forever, obviously, right? So I started doing a side business. I was in real estate at the time. I just started doing real estate. I started cold calling. I started getting on the phones, trying to close a deal. And for, I believe it was 2 months, I was working at a job and I hated it. But every day after my shift, I remember I would just come home I'll go home, and then I would work on my real estate business, try to close the deal, try to close a lead. And eventually I did. I closed one. I closed my first deal for like $3,000, and I was like, all right, cool. And I remember it was a Sunday, and one of my managers called me. He told me, like, Danny, it's time for you to, it's like, get your ass. He was being very disrespectful. He's like, get your ass over here to work. We need you right now. One of the dudes called off. And I remember it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. I answered my phone. I was like, yo, what the hell is this dude on? He's like, I need you here right now. Come, when like being disrespectful. And I was like, I had $3,000 in my bank account. That was enough for me to live for a short period of time, and I already had other deals on the pipeline. So I was like, you know what? Just told him, I was like, hey man, look for someone else. I ain't coming back in. Just hung up the phone. That probably was one of the best feelings that I've ever had in my life, to be honest. And that's the first step. Is first, you gotta have some type of money coming in. So any type of job, I always tell people, like, any job, it does not matter, but money has to be coming in first. And then after that, what you could do is you can start leveraging that job and start using that money to start funding your business. And then after your 9 to 5, you're gonna have to like, one thing that I always told myself was, when I was working 9 to 5 or even longer, sometimes like 14-hour shifts, 15, 16-hour shifts. But after I got home, I made sure to spend a little bit of time while I still had energy just working on the business. Just do something, do a couple of cold calls, do a couple of follow-ups, and I would do that every single day. And eventually that helped me break free of the job, because the job is one of the biggest things that's going to keep you in the rat race. But being able to tell yourself this is temporary, telling yourself that it's just going to be for a short period of time, I'm gonna be doing this like horrible like job, and on top of it not getting paid for my business, but it's okay because I know it's gonna be worth it at the end. That's the first thing that you want to go ahead and do, is get a job, money coming in, and then work on something on the side. And always have that mindset of it's gonna get better. It will get better, right? And then after that, what I started to do was, after I had my business, I closed a deal and I quit my job. I was like, well, I'm all in now. It's either I make money with this business, or I go back to that job. And that was the one thing that I wasn't gonna do, was go back to that job. So that the next thing that I started to do was just work on my business. And I told myself, I better make some money off this business. And I love the business mindset, because you eat what you kill, right? You go and hunt. And if you don't hunt, if you don't know how to hunt properly, you ain't coming back with no food, then you're basically useless, right? Or you're basically you're gonna die out there. So that's one thing that I always enjoyed about business. I just kept out there, I kept hunting, and I kept me hungry. And when I knew, I was like, okay, I don't have any, like, there's no support. If I don't make this work, then I'm gonna be going back to that job. When I knew that was a possibility in my mind, that kept me hungry, and that kept me working. Like, I worked harder than I did working that job and doing my business. I was working all, because in the back of my head, I just had that mindset, like, I am not going back to that job. Whatever I do, I will figure something out. I'll do whatever it takes to get out of that. And eventually I was able to break free from that. Now the second step is going to be probably a whole different video on how I started automating my business, and how I started to I had to do different mind shifts of how to get myself to automate all these things. This will be more for another video. But this is the first step. The first step of getting out of the rat race is just grinding it out, having that mindset that it's temporary, and working your job, making sure there's funds coming in. And if you do that, if you just stay hungry and you have that vision in your mind, like, okay, I am gonna get out of here, I will get out of here. I think it's even better that I am out of here, I am living that lifestyle. And eventually you're gonna get that lifestyle. So make sure, guys, that I'm gonna have all my social medias down there. Make sure to follow. Make sure to like this if you guys found this useful. I'm gonna be dropping gems consistently, giving you guys a game on how to go ahead and live this digital lifestyle. And also, I also want to tell you guys that I do have a community where it's a bunch of like-minded individuals, where we share tips and tricks on how to live this digital nomad lifestyle, things that we've learned, things that just things that we can share with each other, so we can all help each other become the best versions of ourselves. So make sure you guys check out that community, and make sure you follow me on my social medias, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you guys like this video. And that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Peace.